All right, St. Louis. I know it's been a while since I've been on Facebook as it relates to the video. However, we're going to go somewhere that I don't think many of you have traveled. I want you to take a moment. I think the time is right. I think it's time for us to become more aware of the things that we have not yet been aware of. Many of you may have a difficult understanding as to understanding what I'm getting ready to say or unveil to you. However, it's imperative that you begin to go deeper in truth. And if you travel deeper in truth, you begin to see the things that you were incapable of seeing. What you must begin to understand is the reason you haven't traveled deeper in truth is because your mind can only see at the strength of itself. If your mind has not completely evolved, you're not going to know there's something to know because you have not the power to process the information that is all around you. Everything that you see, touch, smell, hear is due to the fact that your mind is encoding it. And as a result, you are literally capable of measuring the position and the velocity of what your mind has encoded. So depending on the strength of your mind, it's going to determine how deep you measure the position and the velocity. Einstein talked about that it was impossible to reach the speed of light, which is 186,000 miles per second. I'm one to believe that's not true. I'm one to believe that we are capable of reaching such significant power, which would change our place in space and time. Many of you are probably having a good, or probably having a hard time understanding what I've been saying. However, there's some of you that are grasping what I'm saying. What you must do is to continue to seek to understand. And once you understand, you no longer will need someone to teach you anything. And the reason that will take place is because the mind has completely evolved. Once the mind completely evolves, the mind will teach itself. In other words, you will not need a teacher because the mind itself has literally warped space and time and allowed itself to remove itself from the gravitational pull that has continued to keep it confined to the earth. As we know earth, we must begin to understand the earth as we know earth is literally moving. They measure it at 1,000 miles per hour. That's the measurement of the broken mind that's measuring the earth movement. However, once your mind reaches perfection at 186,000 miles per second, you will be in the world, but not of the system. You will be in it, but not of it. In other words, just imagine your mind traveling at the speed of light, and everyone around you, their mind is not traveling at that speed. So you're going to be in separate realities. You can still see and interact with them. However, your mind is faster. So in other words, you're going to create precognition so you can see it before it take place in their realm. In other words, it's comparable to the war in Ukraine and Russia. Everyone's looking at that based upon video and audio, etc. But it's moving so slow, it appears to be the reality in which you dwell. However, for those of us that are moving faster, we understand that it has already happened. In other words, World War III, as we know World War III, has already happened. It happened in another reality outside the reality in which we're seeing it take place right now. Subsequently, we're seeing it take place with a slow mind, just like analog. Analog has not the ability to measure the position at the rate of 5G. So as a result, an analog computer cannot send videos via wireless like 5G because it lacks the power. That's comparable to your mind. Your mind lacks the power to know that you're living in something that has already taken place. There's nothing new under the sun. It already happened. It's just your mind is moving so slow, it can't catch up with it at perfection, or it can't catch up with what actually happened, so you perish before it manifests in real time. So that level of inability to reach that level of mind make that reality your reality. And as a result, You don't have the brain power to protect your body, which is not a body, your sound, from becoming more and more broken, which makes you susceptible to viruses and diseases and all kinds of bacteria. In other words, once you reach a level of perfection, just imagine if I had 1 gallon of water inside a plastic container. Now, the water itself, H2O, whatever you want to call it, has to continue to increase to 100%. But based upon its ability to increase, it's moving in an infancy state, which is causality, cause and effect. So as a result, you're never going to reach the power necessary, because as you move closer to 100%, you're losing power to push you to where you're going. So in essence, to what you need to literally possess the power minus friction and heat, minus your grave clothes, that's going to enable you to warp space and time at absolute zero and contract inward and not expand. Just like they have stated that the universe is expanding and they don't know why. The reason the universe is expanding is because the observer of the universe is you. You're observing, and those that are the cosmologists and the astrophysicists and those are making that statement, or the observer, they might look through telescopes, etc., but they have to observe what they see. So their mind is not moving strong enough to know that the reason the universe is expanding is because their mind is decaying. Nothing's outside you, everything is inside you. So what we must do is reach perfection. Once we reach the perfection of mind, we will come to the realization that the universe itself is our mind, which is a perfect sound that has the ability to reach that level of sound. However, if you don't reach that perfect sound, you're going to be subject to the darkness because your mind has not yet completely evolved, which will stop time. I'm not necessarily trying to go beyond you. I think we all are capable of reaching a level of intellect that will be just like A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. However, we have never been taught this. We've been taught by those that are blind, but yet we think they are capable of seeing and that they are geniuses, but yet they are intellectual fools and fail to realize that they haven't finished the course. The Bible talks about those that endure till the end shall know the truth or shall be saved. The end is the end of the reality in which you dwell. And once you reach the end, meaning reach perfection, minus friction and heat, removing all the air from within the ionosphere and create a complete vacuum, you will be in the world, but not of the world. And as a result, your reality will be totally different. The question we must ask ourselves is, how do we wake up people that are not aware of what I'm saying? We must literally start over and teach them from infancy stages as to what truth is, because we've been going the wrong way the entire time. And as a result of going the wrong way, we've established wars or countries, states and cities, and everyone's literally trying to compete against one another. But what they failed to realize, at the molecular subatomic level, when you fuse together at absolute zero minus friction and heat, we are all one. And we will all sing that song, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, male and female. We will love ourselves like we never knew that we were capable, because we will now have the power to love. God bless.